This amused me on the weekend. Monique Ryan, the Teal down there in Melbourne, has come out. She put on Twitter, this idea for reduce the voting age to 16. This is the UK Labour Party pushing this idea. They're going to introduce voting for 16-year-olds. 16 will be the new voting age in Britain, and the Teal, Monique Ryan, has come out in support of that. Yet these are the same people in Australia who don't think 16-year-olds should be, or 15-year-olds should be allowed to even go on YouTube or social media. So isn't there this kind of difference here? Monique Ryan was saying, 16-year-olds are fully engaged. They know what's going on. They're there. They're part of what... But we don't want them to look on YouTube. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and when some of these, say, 16, 17-year-olds, go off and joined Islamic State and decide to be jihadi brides or fight amongst
and not only that,
they say, "Oh no, they were just kids. They didn't know what they were doing."
And if they go out, if they go out and steal cars and bash people, in Australia, and go joyriding and go driving through the Eastern Distributor Tunnel at like 200 kilometers an hour in a stolen Porsche, which happens in Sydney sometimes. They they were just kids. They didn't know what they were doing. Look, there's a lot of politically engaged young people who are 16 years old. But voting is, a mark of adulthood. Adulthood, we say, starts at 18. Arguably, it should start later.
Well, it used to.
It used to. But, this idea that, you should give the vote to people who are young, less informed, susceptible to peer pressure. And I think that's a large part of what they want to do. They want to create this sort of, voting bloc of people who are, susceptible to kind of the leftist peer pressure of youth and so on and so forth. It's sort of like, Mao's young guards and things like that.
Not just that. They're going to be at the mercy of the education sector.
Yeah.
So you've got these kids who are just being
propagandized every day in the classroom,
endlessly at school, and then they'll be going off to vote. I mean, come on, you've got to be consistent. As James said, you can't say, they're kids when they commit a crime and they shouldn't be doing adult time. They shouldn't be held to adult standards, but they can vote and determine who's going to lead the country.
It'll be interesting to see what happens in Britain, because there are some who, and we'll speak to someone next week, hopefully, about that. There are some who are saying, well, this is actually going to benefit reform more than anybody else. Because, of course, if you're the government... and you're a government for 5 years, and youth tend to rebel, they may well... And this is what happened in the past, apparently, in Britain. When they first lowered the voting age to 18, it actually benefited not the left, but the right. But there we go. We shall see.
It does show how absolutely desperate and terrified Starmer and the Labour government is. Yeah.